First is Java history. See, before knowing any programming language, some people are very new to Java. Okay, so they should know why Java has come into picture. Okay, so another is features of Java. So what does Java do and why it has come into picture. Okay, then Java versions, what all versions are available till now, and application area. So I just want you, to tell me like how you want me to proceed. Anyhow, I'll be going through the slides, but I wanted to do some practical examples. So please let me know. Whether you want me to go through each and every slide or you want me to do practical thing also. Okay, so I'll be taking. That's what I am going through each and every slides. But the thing is, I'll just explain you small things. After that, you can just and I'll go through each and every slide. But I wanted you to do practical much, okay? Because Java is a coding language, okay? So if you will not do practical things, so I think each and everything won't be clear to you much, okay? Fine, that makes sense. Royal, uh, can only you can't hear, or everyone can hear me? Can you please tell me? Anu, Devi. Okay, Royal, can you please again disconnect your headphone or whatever you're using again, just connect it through. Just try it and just let me know if still you are facing any problem. Okay. So this is the history of Java. Three people, James Gosling, Mike Sheridan and Patrick Norton, initiated Java project in the year 1991. Okay, so it was a small team of Sun engineers called Green Team. Okay, so firstly it was called as Green Talk by James and the extension was .gt. Okay, great word. Okay, so after it was called as oak as it is a symbol of strength and chooses as a national tree of USA, France and Germany. So that is the reason they have named it as oak before. Okay, so in 1995, so just remember in 1991 they have initiated Java project and in 1995 oak was renamed as Java. Okay, but it's a small story that Java is an island where first coffee was produced. So you would have seen that and beside Java there is a coffee symbol used to be, it's there, right? So it's a small story behind it, that it was a small island where first coffee was produced. So might be that was a place near to them, so they might thought that okay, oak should be replaced by Java. So that is a small history of Java. So usually three people were there, but James Gosling, he's known as the father of Java programming language. Okay, so he's the person. Now what are the features of Java? What I'll do, I'll just go through one by one. Okay, if you have any doubt, anyhow, for each one, detailed knowledge is given in the slides. Okay, but I can say that these 12 topics are itself, it covers whole Java. Okay, each topic has a particular different another brief description of a particular part. Okay, so if I'll say simple, see any programming language, if we talk about C and C++, I think most of you are familiar with C and C++. So there were some of the topics which were which people were finding it very difficult. um, um, I mean for example, pointers, right? So pointers, they people found it difficult because first of all it allows us to, it access to the memory location directly. so which is not very secured way. So that is the reason, or many of the other things in C and C++. C, if I talk about structures, unions, so that were, I mean, bit complex things. I mean, if you are very well into it, then fine. But people were finding it difficult. So in Java, they have decided to eliminate all the things. I mean, no pointers, no structures union, no go-to statements are there. Just to make it a very simple language, they have eliminated all these things. Okay. Now object oriented, see, everything in Java is object. Okay, so that makes it as a complete object oriented language. Okay, so I'll talk about it further. I mean, what exactly is the object? You have any idea about it? What is object? Can anyone? What is a object? No, yes. Okay, okay, good. So anything which has a state and behavior is an object. Okay, no matter anything in the world which has a state and behavior is an object. Okay, uh, laptop is an object. Okay, because it has a state, it has its own color, and it has a behavior, like we can just shut it down, we can open up. Okay, so anything, for that matter, anything which has state and behavior is an object. So Java is complete object oriented language. Okay. Now platform independent. Platform independent in the sense, see, any language, if you have to write according to the operating system, then it becomes a tedious task for you, right? So what Java has done, once you have written code of Java, you can just run it anywhere in any operating system. So don't you think it has itself become a very simple thing, right? You have to just write the code once and you can run it anywhere in any operating system. Okay, so that is the basic idea of platform independency. Okay, so secured. Now secured is nothing but, Java is a secured language, right? So as I told you, pointers are eliminated from Java. Okay, so this is one of the reason that it has become secured language. Then another thing came into picture, applets, so which is a desktop based application. It has also made Java a secured language. So many reasons are there behind it. Now robust. Robust is a very important feature of Java, because Java is a robust language because of three main features. Okay, number one, it it gives us strict compile time checking. Now what is the meaning of strict compile time checking? Any idea? You can speak up, not a problem, if you have any idea. Safety of data, yeah, I mean, see, if we have defined, I mean, you know about data types and all, right? Int, float, string. So if we have defined a variable with int type, and we are trying to convert it to string type, then it will give us a error. See boss, this variable is of int type, you cannot convert it to string type directly. Okay, so these are some of the strict compile time checking which Java does. Okay, so we'll come to know, okay, we are trying to convert into string, which is not going to happen. Okay, because the variable is of type int. Second very most important thing is exception handling. Okay, so exceptions. Now again, what are exceptions? Devi, you have any idea what are exceptions?
Divide by 0.
Yes, exactly. So, yes, great. any unexpected behavior, right? So what will happen if we will not handle the exceptions, our program will terminate abruptly. Okay, so I mean that is not a great thing. So we have to handle those exceptions. So this is one of the exception. There might be some other exceptions also. For example, if we are trying to find a file which is not at all present, so that will become a file not found exceptions. Okay, so many exceptions are there. So it is very necessary to handle the exceptions in order to make the program run smoothly. This is the second feature of robust. I mean, or I can say the second another feature which makes Java robust language. Now, third one is garbage collection. See, as many of you told that you are familiar with C and C++. So I think you people know that we used to create the objects over there, and also it's our responsibility to delete the object when it is of no use, right? So it is also one extra task for a programmer that he has to make sure that every object which he has created, he has to you know uh, delete the object in C++. So that also has now not there in Java, because in Java object deletion is taken care of by our garbage collector. So garbage collector is the one which will take care of object deletion. Okay, so what will happen, or I can say yeah, what will happen, see, it is a internally very vast topic again, garbage collection. So just give you a basic idea about the garbage collection is, once the object, it will just go take the object once its reference is not there, or once it will come to know that it is not being referred anywhere, it will just go ahead and delete that object. So that work of programmer is also being eliminated. Okay, so can you please tell me for what all features Java has become a robust language? These are the three separate topics of Java. As I told, these features itself are the separate topics which I am going to cover one by one. So I just wanted to tell you what exactly Java does and what are its uses. So can you please tell me for what reason Java is a robust language?
It compiles variable types immediately.
Great. It's for because of its compile time safety.
Exception handling and garbage collection.
Great. So these are the three things. Okay, or these are, I can say, again separate topics in Java. Now another is architectural neutral and portable. I can just club these two features. Architectural neutral is nothing but Java has its own slogan. Okay, write once, run anywhere. Okay, so as I told you, in platform independency, right? So what will happen, you can just write the code up in a particular place and you can run it anywhere. I'll tell you how exactly it happens. Okay, portability, say it's a very basic English word, portable. So from name only it suggests that a particular thing we can just place it anywhere. A particular code written in any language can be placed in any operating system. Okay, dynamic. Now again, a very simple English word. Dynamic means what? Or I can say in the sense of programming language, during the runtime. Okay, so during runtime we can add any classes or libraries in our program. So this is the basic meaning of dynamic programming language. Okay, now am I clear till now? Any doubts? Yes, no? Great. Okay. Which one you want me to repeat? Dynamic? Okay. So dynamic, Shridevi, is nothing but, see, while writing a program, if suppose I'll just take a small example, I wanted to add a math class. Okay, I don't want to write it. What exactly is pi is, or what exactly how does it works. I don't want to write that code. I can just call math class. There is a class in Java that is called math class. Okay, math. So it contains all the code or all the functionality related to our mathematics. Okay, it is a small example. So it is a class which we can call in our programming language, or while coding. So our code will become a concise code. We don't have to write again proper coding for that class. It is already an inbuilt class. So once we call that class, we will get the functionality or the functions which has been written in that class. Okay, that makes sense? Fine. Okay, so this is the meaning of dynamic. At any time, we can just add the classes or libraries which are there in Java. Now, interpreted. See, usually all the languages like C and C++, they are compiled languages, or only compilation is done in that languages. And if I talk about our scripting language, for example, JavaScript, VB script, these are going to be interpreted language. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is the difference between compilation and interpretation?
Compile means it will execute the complete code.
Okay,
Interpreted means it will execute the line by line execution.
great. Yeah, so compile means whole code will go into the compiler and you will get the compiled code. Interpreted means line by line it will check the error. If an error is there, it will just give you, yeah, here is the error. Java is a language which is compiled also and interpreted also. So that makes this language as an error-free language. Okay. Now another, there are many, it is a very important feature of Java. I'll tell you, it makes a language as platform independent also. It helps us in that also. I'll just go through it once. So now high performance. See, high performance because of all these features, and there are so many things. It is used in network connections also. So many things are there which will give high performance. Okay, so it has become a high performance language. Multi-threaded, again, it is a very important topic of Java. Multi-threaded means, see, various tasks you can done simultaneously. Okay, so this is a layman term. If I'll talk about what is the meaning of multi-threaded, so many tasks you can done simultaneously. It can be done simultaneously. Okay, so if if I have an account in BOFA, okay, so might be any other person also would be having the same account, right? So I'm also having net banking, he is also having net banking. I'm also doing transaction at the same time, he also is doing transaction at the same time. So there might be a chances of clashing. Okay, so might be his money will come into my account, my money will come into his account, and BOFA is going to, go mad. Okay, so that will be the very crazy thing. So that, to take care of those things, multi-threaded environment has come into picture. So every thread is responsible of a particular task. So if simultaneously so many work would be doing, so threads will make sure that no clashing should be there in between the each of the other task. Okay, so this is the meaning of multi-threaded environment, that so many work can be done simultaneously. Okay. Okay, so you got it. See, this is a very basic thing I'm telling. Anyhow, it is a very big topic. I'm going to cover it, but the basic, I just wanted to give a basic idea what all we are going to learn in this. So you got the meaning of multi-threaded? All of you? Okay, great. So distributed. Now distributed means, see, now any programming language, it is, if it is not compatible with internet, then it is of no use, because everywhere we need internet thing. We are waste without internet. Okay, in current scenario. So Java is a language which helps us, or which is totally, it has now a become an internet programming language. It uses TCP IP protocol. It uses RMI. RMI is nothing but remote method invocation. So I'll explain you in other slides. So because of all these things, it has become a complete internet programming language. So this is a meaning of distributed environment. Okay. So these are the some key features of Java. So just go through it. Anyhow, one by one, I'll be taking up. There is a separate session for each and every feature. Okay. So just now you can just read the slides. So simple, it is a simple language similar to C and C++. Okay, it is similar but not completely like C and C++. It omits operator overloading. Operator loading was there in C++, but in Java operator overloading is omitted. Now, and multiple inheritance. I suppose so. I mean, two or three people, they told me that they are familiar with C and C++. So can you please tell me what is multiple inheritance? It was there in C++, right? I suppose Hemang told me he is familiar with C++. Yeah. So
It is to inherit from more than one parent.
yes. So what will happen? There was a clash, right? From which parent it is inheriting, or which class is going to be inherited. So there was again, it is a separate topic, so no worries. But just to make sure that there should be no, confusion in the programming language, they have omitted multiple inheritance. Okay. Now go to statement is eliminated, header files are eliminated, explicit use of pointers. As I told you, pointers are not there in Java. Garbage collection is there, a rich set of predefined classes. So because of garbage collection and a rich set of predefined classes, as I told you, math is one particular class. Example I had given you. Like this, so many predefined classes are there in Java, which makes a Java very simple programming language. Okay. Object oriented. So it forces the programmer to use classes and object. As object, I told you, anything which has its own state and behavior is an object. Okay. Robust, again I told you, it is a very, very important feature. Designed for writing highly reliable or robust software. So automatic garbage collection which prevents memory leak. Okay. Type safety of data, extensive compile time and runtime checking, object oriented exception handling. So one example, as you only have given me, divide by 0. Now architectural neutral and interpreted. See, it architecture neutral and interpreted means, now I'll just uh, see, this is your Java code or the .java file. Any Java code you have written. This code will be going to the Java compiler. The name of the Java compiler is JavaC. Okay. So Java code will be going to the Java compiler and it will give us bytecodes. Okay. Now this bytecode or this .class file will become a platform independent file. Okay, I'll repeat once again. One .java file or Java code is written. Now it has to go to the Java compiler, that is JavaC. This JavaC will produce a code which will be a bytecode and it is a platform independent code. Okay. .class file for every class in Java, no matter how many classes we will write, every, a particular .class file will be generated for each and every .java file. Okay. Now I told interpretation. What is the use of interpreter in Java? The one use of interpreter in Java is, once we get the bytecode, it is a platform independent code. Yeah, but we have to run in different operating systems. For example, you can see here this Solaris workstation, this is Linux workstation, this is Windows workstation. So this code has to be run in each and every operating system. Okay, so this code, if you want to run in each and every operating system, then interpreter will come into picture. Interpreter will run bytecode in each and every operating system. Here interpreter and JVM. JVM is nothing but Java Virtual Machine. So Java, I'll just talk about it in the next slide. interpreter and Java virtual machine are required to run this bytecode in each and every operating system. Okay, so any doubt in this? Shall I repeat or it's fine? Shall I go further? Okay. Okay, great. So it's a very powerful language. So again, there are so many, other things are there. Threads, networking, as I told you, it includes TCP/IP, RMI invocation, RMI methods. So it becomes a networking language. Threads it will be using, distributed objects, database access. Database access. If I talk about, see, if I have 10 employees, right? To 10 employees, details are there in the company. So each and every, they should be one particular area where all employees data should be saved. So that area we called it as database. So database accesses from Java, we can just access the database. If I want that particular data to be displayed in my code, so there is a method we can just make a connectivity from Java to database, so to get the any employee details. So that is nothing but database access. Graphics, this another feature we can include graphics also. Data structure library. So data structure library, as I told you, so many libraries are inbuilt, which are present in Java. So we can just call them anytime. So that is the dynamic feature of Java. Serialization is also very important and a very separate topic in Java. So no worries as of now. If you're not, see, if you're not able to understand any particular term, for example serialization, no worries. Okay, I'll go through each and every topic in detail. As of now, serialization is nothing but using, we have to serialize the objects in any database. Memory is a very temporary location. So to make it permanent for all the objects, we need to make it as a serialized object. So we need to store the objects in the databases. Okay, so that is the meaning of serialization. Another digital signatures. So these are very high level things. So no worries as of now. So these are some of the features which makes Java as a very powerful language. Okay. This graph you can just go through it. So it just tells that how drastically Java has come into the picture. Okay, so you can just go through it. It is understood. Distributed language, as I told you, it supports TCP/IP protocol, RMI, that is remote method invocation. Okay, so see, RMI earlier we were using. Now so many things has come, but earlier RMI was used. A very simple example if I give for RMI is chat application. Okay, so what will happen if it is done with the help of socket programming language. So two systems are there. If I want to make a connection between these two systems, so that can be done through RMI. Okay, now so many things has come, but this earlier we were using RMI only with socket programming language. Okay, so see, as I told you, machine A, machine B, two machines are there. There was a stub and a skeleton. So if one, we have to make connection between this and this particular machine. So it can be done through RMI programming. Yeah, obviously internet connection is there, should be there. Multi-threaded, parallel processing. Okay, so many lots of different works can be done at a particular single time. Okay, now what are the Java editions? So there were 3 editions of Java: standard edition, enterprise edition, micro edition. Micro edition, or also we can call this as mobile edition. So it is yeah, standard edition is nothing but it was meant for only desktop based programming language. Okay, so desktop based programming language we uses like applets, JavaFX. These are, or swings were there. So these are completely desktop based programming language. No internet connectivity is required, and also they are not at all compatible for internet, because this is just a programming language for a particular desktop. In swings, for example, if I want to create a button, or if I want to just drag or something, so these all are, we can get it through applets and swings. So a particular language which is just meant for a particular desktop. So these are known as desktop programming language, or you can say enterprise edition, that is J2SE. Okay. Now another edition of Java is enterprise edition, that is J2EE, or we can, yeah, formally it is known as J2EE. Now here we are using servlets, GSP, GSF, EJB, Spring Hibernate. So these all comprises, and we can call it as J2EE programming language. Okay. So now Amazon.com, eBay. So from here only you can come to know, right, that it is like a internet program. From here it becomes an internet programming language. So servlet, GSP, EJB, Spring Hibernate, GSF, these are the concepts in Java which made Java a popular internet programming language. Okay. Another is Java Micro Edition, or you can say Java to Mobile Edition, that is J2ME. Okay. So it is Java running on small devices. So it is like for cell phones, embedded printers, all for all these things, J2ME edition works. So these are Java SE versions, so you can just go through it. See, in 1996, it was started in the year 1991. Okay, it has become a Java language in 1995. So 1995 or 1996, the first Java version came, that is 1.0. After that, in 1997, 1990, see 1998, swings and other frameworks came into picture. Okay, for example, if I'll tell you, see, in Java 1.5, 1.5, this generics, Varax came into picture. Before that, it was not there. Then now, the current running version of Java is 1.8. Okay, so it is like, it another so many features are there for, like Lambda for functional programming. Some in stream features are there, stream programming, stream features for parallel programming. So so many features are there. So no worries about that. This is just to make you sure how, from where it started and what is the current version of Java. Now JDK 8, as I told you, 1.8 is a current running version of Java. Okay, so JDK is nothing but, for any programming language to make it successful, there are several, development kits will be there. Okay, for example, compiler, interpreter. Okay, so Java development kit is nothing but bundle of software components that are needed to develop Java application. Okay, so JDK consists of Java compiler, Java interpreter, Java debugger, Java applet viewer, Java P. So there are so many development kits of Java, or development tools of Java, okay, which will come under the Java development kit, and it helps us to run the Java code. Okay. Okay, JVM. Now JVM, I was talking about JVM. See, I told you two things, right? How can we make Java as a platform independent language? Once we compile Java programming code, what we get? Great, dot class file.
That's right.
Huh. And how we can run that particular code in every operating system? Yes, the help of interpreter and JVM. Now what is JVM? JVM is nothing but Java virtual machine. So the name only suggests it is a virtual machine. JVM is an abstract computing machine. We cannot see it, but it is internally inbuilt machine which has to be there in each and every operating system to which has to be there in each and every operating system to make or to run this bytecode. Okay, so got it right? Okay, so what exactly it does is its specification provides runtime environment which will give Java bytecode a executable code in every operating system. Okay, I repeat, its specification provides runtime environment which gives bytecode a executable code in every operating system. Okay, so now can you please tell me whether JVM is a independent machine or a dependent machine? Good. It is a dependent machine because for each and every operating system, a separate JVM is available. So JVMs are available for many hardware and software platforms. So it has to be installed in every machine, every operating system to run the bytecode or a Java compatible code or a Java compiled code. Okay. So now, so from here as you just see the picture, Java source code, it has to be compiled, then you will get the bytecode. Okay, so for each and every operating system, separate JVM has to be installed to run that bytecode. Okay, fine. Now what is JRE? See, the name only suggests JRE is nothing but Java Runtime Environment. Okay, so JRE is a software environment in which programs compiled for a typical JVM implementation can execute. Okay, so JRE, under JRE we will get JVM, other class loaders, bytecode verifier, and all other separate, our separate set of libraries. So JRE is nothing but it is a implementation of JVM. It contains set of libraries plus other files that JVM uses at runtime. Okay, JVM uses some of the other internal things like interpreter, garbage collector, threads and synchronization, and so many other things. So it is there under JVM. What is JRE? JRE comprises of JVM as well as certain set of libraries which are there to run the Java code. Okay, so that is the reason we can say that it is an implementation of JVM. Okay, so implementation of JVM, code necessary to run Java programs, dynamically linked native methods, or I can say set of libraries, okay, which are needed for implementing Java program, manage memory, handle exceptions. So all these things comprises and becomes a JRE. Okay, got it? Any doubts till now? Okay, everyone, it's clear till now? Just let me know if you want me to repeat anything. Okay. Now JIT. See, I told you, right? One, this is known as just-in-time compiler. Okay, so it has come into picture. It is a very powerful compiler. What it does, it is used to improve the performance of the code. What it does, it compiles part of bytecode that have similar functionality. See, in our code, there might be so many lines or so many functions which does the similar things. Functionally, it will be equal, right? So what it does, it is used to it compiles part of bytecode that has similar functionality at the same time, and hence reduces the amount of time needed for compilation. I repeat, what does this JIT compiler does? If JIT compiler is there in our code, or if we are using JIT compiler, it will just compile part of bytecode that has similar functionality. If similar functionality is compiled at the same time, then obviously the compilation time would be reduced. If compilation time is reduced, then performance will increase. Okay, so it is a very powerful compiler. So if we can see, if if this is our Java code, it has bytecode, we got the bytecode. If just in time compiler is there, what it will do, then that time no interpreter is required if we have just in time compiler. So if it is there, that is y denotes that if JIT compiler is there, then it will directly go to the JVM, and it will, in every operating system, it can run the Java code. If not, then we have to use the interpreter, and it will go to the particular JVM installed machines, and it will run the bytecode. So it is just additional thing in Java. So what it does, no, can you please tell me what this JIT compiler does? Yeah, yeah. So what it does, it just compile part of bytecode that has similar functionality at the same time and reduces the amount of time needed for compilation. Okay, great. So I mean, this is the same thing. So if JIT compiler is there, so it will just compile the bytecode. So this Java object oriented programming language, so as I told you, the whole programming language revolves around classes and objects. Okay, so software is divided into two modules. So see, oh, it's okay, I'll just make you understand from here, I think. Yeah, so it consists of classes and object, and I already told you what are objects. Objects are nothing but any real world entity which has state and its own behavior. Okay, so anything, no matter whichever it is, a vehicle, a dog, anything in real life scenario which has its own state and behavior is an object. So object is an instance of class. Object is a real-time entity. It has a own state and behavior, state, behavior, and identity. So see, Notepad also you can consider it as an object. So it has its own state, right? And anything you can say, it has some state, it has some color. What behavior it can do? It can open, close, minimize, maximize, save. So this is how I was telling. An object has state and behavior. Phone is an object, right? So it has a color, it has numbers. So once we can just call from the phone. So the same thing I was talking about, state, characteristics, name, breed, height, weight. So these are the state of a dog. Behavior, eat, run, walk. Now, what is classes? Classes is a blueprint, or you can say collection of object is a class. Okay, so see, class consists of member variables and member functions. Okay, so two things are there in the class, member variables and member functions. Now what are member variables? It is a collection of object. So whatever the object is having, it has to be there under class. So any state characteristics is represented by member variables. Member method, it defines the responsibility of the class. What does the class does? So member methods, for example, a display method. Display method is a responsibility of that class. So it is a method. So it defines the responsibility of the class. Okay, so for example, if I'll take a messaging example or application. Okay, so state is member variable. Okay, so what are the state of a particular messaging application? To and text. To whom we are sending the message, what is the text that we are sending to a particular person. So that is a state. What is the behavior, or what are the member functions? Send SMS, forward, delete, right? So these are some of the behavior of a class. As I told you, class is a collection of objects. There might be two objects. Okay, so yeah, or we can say class is a blueprint. It is a logical structure set of instruction given to JVM how to create object out of it. Okay, so this is another definition you can take it for class. So it is a set of instruction given to the JVM and tells how to create instance or object out of it. Now see, this is a class and these are the two objects of a class. Okay, so these are the state of a class, to and text. What is the text we are sending? This is a class representation. Fine. Now it has two objects. Class is a collection of objects, so it is containing two objects. One is object Tom, one is object Jack. So again, both of them are having their own state and behavior. So its number is, his number is this, hi Tom, then his number is this, hi Jack, and then both of the objects does the same thing: send SMS, save and delete. So I mean, these are the slides, you can just go through it. Now I'll just start of the practical session, but before that I just wanted to know I mean, you have any doubts till now? So everything is clear? How Java came into picture, what is the history of Java, how it became platform independent language, what is bytecode, what is JVM? Okay, what is JVM? What is the difference between JVM and JRE? JVM is a part of JRE, or JRE is an implementation of JVM, right? Good. So JRE contains Java and other class libraries. What is JIT? Just-in-time compiler. It compiles part of Java code with similar functionality at the same time. Okay, and it will increase the performance. Great. So you people have understood. So let's move towards the practical part. How many of you are familiar with Eclipse, or does anyone know Eclipse? Because I'll be using this, tool for Java development. So how many of you are familiar with it? Not familiar? Royal, it's like you are familiar or not? Okay, so fine. See, Eclipse you can download from eclipse.org. Eclipse.org is a website from where you can download the Eclipse. Okay, so you can just download the latest version also. So Eclipse Neon is a latest version of Eclipse. Okay, so I have downloaded the same. It is very easy to download. You just have to click on download. Download 32-bit in that Eclipse will be there. Download it, extract it. You will get, I'll just show you so that you'll not get confused. See, this is the downloaded version. So Eclipse Neon you will get in a zip format. Unzip it, you will get a folder of Eclipse like this. Okay, then no need to install it further. This is the executable file. Directly you can open it and you will get the file from there. Okay, so eclipse.org. Please use this website to download the Eclipse if you are going to download it. Okay, anyhow you have to, because I'll be giving so many assessments for you. Okay, so I'll just start from the beginning. Okay, so if you want to create any new project, just go to file. First of all, you have to check in with Perspective VR. Okay, there are two perspective in Eclipse. That is, one is Java and other is, see, this is the tab from where you can change the perspective. Okay, so if I want to run the code in Java perspective, then just use Java. If I want to use the code in JE perspective, then use this perspective. In JE we can run all those code like servlets, JSP, right? All those codes we are going to run in Java E perspective. Fine. So I want, because we are learning Java as of now, so we will just use Java perspective. Okay, done. We are into Java perspective now. Okay, now just go to file. Okay, new, just take Java project. Okay, project name I'll just give class 1. Okay, so this is a project name. Just go to next and then finish it. So your project got created. Okay, now what you have to do, after creating project, you have to create a package. New package. See, all the any class for that matter, any library will be there in the package. From there, from the package, inside package, class will be there. So first project, then under that packages will be there. Under packages, classes will be there. Under classes, different methods and functions will be there, or functions will be there. Okay, so you got it. First package, under package, classes will be there. Under classes, functions and data variables or whatever will be there. Okay, so this is the hierarchy you have to follow. So we have created a project. So this is a package. Package, again, I would like you to make a habit. Just don't give anything over there. Okay, it is a standard form. You have to give com dot whichever. As of now I have just for just a simple examples I will be taking here. So I'm not going to write any other thing, because usually what will happen, com dot company's name used to come and the project name used to come, which project, which related to which particular project we are going to make a package, or which will be the classes for which we are going to make a package, because for that particular classes packages will be there. If I want to use exception handling examples, then I will just use here com dot exception handling examples. Okay, so this is, it will just show, okay, under this package exception handling code or exception handling classes are there. Make sense? Okay, so as of now I'll just here write here Java examples. That's it. Okay, then finish it off. So this is the package you have got. Okay, so what we have done, we have just created a project. Under that we have created a package. Now under this package we are going to write the classes. Okay, so what we will do, just right click here, new, and then class. Okay, now class, give any name. This is just a demo, so I'll just give, for example, test1. Okay, so again here, if we'll click over here, then we'll get that particular statement also. If not, we will not get. I'll show you. As of now, I will not do anything. I'll just click it here. Finish. See. Now see. This is the package com.java examples. So now this is a particular package under which I will be writing all my classes. Now I was talking about dynamic feature, right? So if whatever the classes I am writing over here, if I want to, call this particular class, I can just call by package name. So we can just import this package, that is com.java examples. What all classes will be there in this package, that will be available in another code also if I want to include these classes or packages. Okay, so this is a small example how Java becomes dynamic. Now see what I want to do. Just a very simple example I'm going to tell you. Okay, so how we'll do, if I want to just print hello world example. Okay, I will do see control plus space bar. If you will do, you will get to know, okay, I want to just print public, so no, you will not do any spelling mistake or something for that, and also you can just write the code faster. Okay, it will take time because once you start, it will take some time, but just make it as habit. Now from now only, just use control and space bar to complete a particular word. Okay, so I mean it will help you out also. Suppose I'm just getting confused whether it is public or something, I'll just do public and it will show me. Okay, then static. Okay, again control space bar. See, static has come, right? So static void main. Okay, don't worry about it. It is again a different topic. What is the meaning of public? What is the meaning of static? What is the meaning of void? Don't worry. But as of now, I just wanted you to show a small demo because I wanted you to people, code from now itself. Okay, because it is a coding programming language, right? So string. See, you have got it. String. See, can you see it here? You are getting a string and you are also coming to know in which particular package it is, right? You can see it here, string I am using, in which package it is, java.lang package. Got it? So string comes under java.lang package. So just call this args. Okay, now this is our class and this is our main method. So any particular code you have to write, any object you have to call, you can call only in the main method. Okay, I'm not writing all those object code as of now because many of you are very new to this, so I'll just use very basic example. Okay, so now what I have to use, I have to just print hello world example, right? So system control space bar again, system dot out. See, you've got it, right? Out dot println, which all function you want to use. I want to use println. Println means it will print and it will come, the cursor will come in next line. I just wanted to print hello world. Okay, then a semicolon. Okay, so again I'll just explain. This is a package, under that classes will be there. So test1 is our test1 is our class, which is of type public. It is a main method. Under main method we are going to just print the statement or just print a word which is called hello world. How to run it? First save is Control S, just run A, C, right? Okay. One second. Okay, see, it is showing me run A. But what is the name of a class? Our
Test one.
test one.
Test one.
Yeah. So what we have to do? Right click here, run as, run configuration. Okay, this is the class test. So we have to main class is our test class. You can search it or com.java examples dot test. Mistake I have done. Wait one second. Okay, test one. Why that class is not coming here? Completely behind me. Okay. Okay, one second. I'll just, sometimes it happens. I'll just close the Eclipse once. Okay, and I'll just open it once again. Still the same thing. Okay, let me see whether it will run or not. Okay. Okay, let me check. Some configuration issue is coming. So this is the same thing. So instead of hello, I have just printed hello world. Let me check what is the thing over there. if I'll just do Control S, so I'll get hello world. Yes, it is required. It is required. We have to write these two. I'll just explain what is the meaning of public static void main, because it is a separate topic. Okay. So as of now, this is a syntax we need to follow. Okay. So I mean it's clear. Okay. Let me check what I think some I have to again when cancel it and then I have to run it. Okay. Let me check. So it's okay. I'll just check it. So same thing I have done. This is under another package. So package com.a. So this is a class A. So public static void main. Same thing. And then we have to just print the hello world over there. Okay. Got it, everyone? Okay. Any confusion till now? Sometimes it happens, it will take the previous name only, and some configuration, if it is not taking, it will not run. So I'll check it. It might be a small issue. So I'll just check it and let you know what is the thing. Okay. So this is a package. This is a class. This is a main method. Main method you would have seen in C++ also, right? So my main method would be there, and this is a println or a print statement. Is it clear? Everything is clear till now? Okay. So I think for day one, this much is enough. Okay. Just I want you to install your Eclipse. All as of now only Eclipse. Once we when move towards J2EE part, I'll let you know how to install Tomcat also. But as of now, installed Eclipse Neon. Okay. And I think Surendra will give you your login credentials. So just go through the PPTs once and just let me know if you have any doubts till now. Is it fine? Okay, so from tomorrow we are going to start proper each and every topics of Java. Okay, just today is the first day, so I don't want to start any further new topics. So just go through the slides once. Okay, you'll come to know about each and every just remember each and what does each and every function does. Okay, and anyhow we'll be doing lots and lots of coding, so no worries about that. From tomorrow we will start proper coding in Java. Okay. Okay, great. uh, uh okay, Surendra. Okay, I'll just ask him to give you the your login credentials. Okay, I hope the session was meaningful for you. Okay, just let me know if you have any doubts. We'll be meeting up tomorrow the same time. Okay. Okay, bye. Thanks everyone. That will be given to you by Surendra. Okay, so for any
Okay.
doubts, yeah, I'll let you know. And this example, the small mistake I have done, that is string I was talking about, right? This braces has to be there. So I have not put that, so that is why it was not running. So now if you'll run, you will get this hello world.
Okay.
Okay, so this was a small mistake, I have done it. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't. Can you repeat it again, please?
Yeah, and this test1.java was not running, right?
Yeah, yes.
So the small mistake, that the string, this braces I have not given there.
Okay.
Okay, it
Yeah.
was not there previously. It is
Okay.
like
Okay.
that. Okay, got it?
Okay.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
it was not there. So once I had included it, you have one. Now once I run it, you'll get the hello world. Okay, so
Okay.
this was a silly mistake I did it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I'll just let you know. I'll ask Surendra to give you the login credentials, and also I'll ask him to. I mean, how can you contact me? He will let you know all the things.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye.